All right. So let's review just a couple rules about arithmetic. If I had 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, that can be shortened as 4 copies of 3, right? If I had 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, that is still 4 copies of 3, but it's going to be 3 to the 4th. Okay? But what if I had 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared? That is 4 copies of 3 squared. So we have 3 squared to the 4th. And if I break this down, this is 3 times 3, this one is 3 times 3, this one is 3 times 3, and so on. And if I count them all up, I have a total of 3 to the 8th. So when we have an exponent to an exponent, what do we do with that? We multiply. Okay? So that would be 3 to the 2 times 4. Now you have to be careful because this is different. 3 squared to the 4th, that is squaring the 2. Or sorry, that is taking the 2 to the 4th power. So that's going to be 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. So that would be 3 to the 16th. Okay? So these are different. Does that make sense? This is saying we have 4 copies of this, and this is saying we have 4 copies of the 2. Okay? So for this one, we have 4 copies of v squared, which is going to be v to the 8th. Okay? Each one of these has its own exponent, 1, 1, 4, and 3. So we're going to get negative 5 to the 1 times 3 times b raised to the 1 times 3 and a raised to the 4 times 3. So negative 5, and that negative is inside parentheses. So negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 is negative 125. And then b to the 3rd, a to the 12th. Okay. What if this was a 4th power? Well, negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 625. And then we would get b to the 1st, a to the 16th. Okay? Okay. Here, everything is multiplied together. So I'm going to multiply all of the numbers together. 8 times 2 is 16 times 2 is 32. And then I will collect all the x's. We have an x to the 9th and an x to the 5th for a total of 14 x's. And then we have a y, oops, I missed, y and a y to the 3rd. So that would be y to the 4th. Okay, 9 times 10 to the 3rd. So that 3 is positive, and positive numbers go to the right. So we need to take 9.0 and move this decimal 1, 2, 3 places. So the answer is now 9,000. Hopefully that's review. Okay, same thing here. We're going to move this decimal 1, 2, 3 places, and we get 3882. Okay. How do we multiply in scientific notation? So this will give a good explanation of how to do it. So I know that A times B times C times D is the same thing as if I scramble those letters. So I could say A times C times B times D. And so here is A, B, C, and D. So if I want to multiply those together, I could rearrange it into A times C times B times D. So I'm going to take the 4 and the 2.2, so multiply those together, and I get 8.8. And then that is times 10 to the 9th times 10 to the 5th. Well, those share a base, right? It's like x to the 9th times x to the 5th. So all I have to do is add the 9 and the 5 together, and I get 8.8 times 10 to the 14th. So multiplying scientific notation is really easy. You just multiply, they're sort of like coefficients, the numbers in the front, and then you write times 10, and you add the exponents on the tens. So let's do another one. So here, I'm going to multiply 3.2 times 2. So that is 6.4 times, and then I have 10 to the 8th times 10 to the 6th. Those bases match, so this will be 10 to the 14th. Now, that is an enormous number, by the way. 10 to the 14th is so large, it's hard for you to understand. So let me write it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that would be, so millions, billions, 640 trillion. Okay? So 640 trillion. If you made $2 million every second, that's going to take you, let me do the calculation. So 640, oops, 640, 000. Is that 14? 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, if you made $2 million a second, so divided by 31, so that's going to be 63. It's still so big you guys can't even. Okay, that wasn't big enough. How about 2 billion? If you made $2 billion every second, it's going to take you 10,000 years to make $640 trillion. Oh, that would be seconds. What did I say? Oh, well, that's not what I meant. If you made $2 billion every second, it's going to take you 10,000 years to make that much money. Yeah. It's $640 trillion is so unbelievably large you can't even imagine it. There are 31.6 million seconds in a year. So if you want to know how big a million is, count seconds for about 12 days. There are 1 million seconds every 12 days. All right. So what are we going to do here? We have to follow order of operations. We need to do parentheses, exponents first. So this 3 is going to hit all of those 3's. So negative x to the 9th, y to the 9th, z to the 9th. And then we bring in the x squared and the z to the 4th. So negative x to the 11th, y to the 9th, z to the 13th. And that's it for today. Get to work.